Welcome back to the Maryville Forum Sports Podcast. We continue our State of the Program series after talking to women's basketball, women's soccer, and volleyball the last couple weeks. Today we're joined by Bearcat softball coach Ryan Anderson to talk about how his program wrapped up last spring and what they're looking forward to this year. So, Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And just to wrap up last year, I know it's not exactly where you wanted to be wins and losses wise, but what do you kind of take away from last year, and especially the growth you saw at the end of the season, because the beginning was definitely the
Yeah.
probably the roughest part of the season with all
Yeah.
those rainouts and
Yeah.
everything.
No, it was rough. The first
Well,
really month and a half of the year, we ended up having 18 games canceled. So uh, when we opened up conference play, we have 6 games in, and we're going down to play the Oklahoma schools that have 21 and 22 games in. So we still had players that first weekend out in conference looking for their first hit, and we're going down to play Central Oklahoma and Northeastern, and they're just free swinging. They're going after the ball, and I mean, you could tell a huge difference in the teams just there. So it was a tough opening weekend, and it was a tough recovery from that. We couldn't get it back, so we kept fighting and saw some good things, had some injuries, and tried to deal with those the whole year.
yeah, and you had a young lineup out there a lot, and like you said, injuries made it even younger throughout. So, is there still kind of despite the record, just a lot to grow on with that group and kind of the improvements they made throughout the year?
Well, we saw a ton of good things. There was games that we scored 7 runs, but we'd give up 9, and we continued to hit, we continued to score, and so we have to get better in the circle. Rachel last year, she was hurt most of the year really, and she couldn't get it back to where she wanted to be, and so she was dealing with that a lot. We're bringing in a freshman pitcher as well. We have 2 other pitchers returning that hopefully they can do something too. So, that's our biggest focus going in right now. We have a majority of the lineup back. We just got to find a way to get outs.
And and you brought in a four-person recruiting class so far this year. I know that's kind of fluid and could change before the school year starts again. But just in general, what do you kind of target with this class, and what do you really want to address with this group?
With from what we lost, a couple utility kids, a couple outfielders. We needed to replace that. We got a good hitter coming in. We have another pitcher coming in, but then we also have one girl with speed that can play outfield and infield, and then we had another corner, another bat. So, a little bit of everything there. One of the kids can, I've seen her play 5 different positions on the field. So, we need those kids that can play multiple positions if we do have injuries, if we need to move people around. So, we're happy with the class so far, but we're still looking for possibly one more.
Gotcha. And just to get into some of them, you mentioned the pitcher, so we'll start there. Breck Dickey, is that correct?
Yes.
She comes in as a pitcher. Just what do you see from her, and what kind of excites you about what she brings to the table?
She had a great high school season again this year, led her team to state. Um, she plays on a good summer ball team as well, so she's getting a lot of good experience this summer. She's a lefty thrower, lot of movement on the ball. Balls go down, balls spin away. So, that's what we want to see when she gets here. Ball keep moving and find a way to get outs.
And then Abby Nolte comes in as kind of that utility player, like you mentioned. The same question with her. Just what made you want to bring her into the program?
It seemed like every game when I first was recruiting her, she'd be at a different position.
Yeah.
So I never knew where she actually played. I saw her play third. I saw her play short. I saw her play first. I saw her play left field. I've even seen her play second. So I know she plays on our high school team, she played a lot of shortstop. This year, she's actually having to pitch for them. She's from Iowa, so
Gotcha.
She knows she's not a pitcher, but she's able to throw strikes right now and get outs for them. So, but she's a kid that wants to swing the bat. So, and every time I saw her play, that's what she did. She swung and hit the ball, and so we need more of those.
Does that make it difficult, I guess, to kind of evaluate some of these players? I know you recruit some before even the Missouri high school season starts, but the Iowa kids especially, you're going into the summer before they start playing. How does that kind of throw a different wrinkle into it, or is it they play enough club ball and everything you
Well,
see them a lot?
and that's where I actually had to see her. I
Yeah,
saw her in some club ball games, and so I mean, I actually able to see her quite a bit. So, you know, she's somebody that we hope can step in and help us right away.
gotcha. And continuing down the list here, Grace Jeffries, another player who can play multiple positions out there. It looks like what you see from Grace.
She's a lefty slapper, speed kid. You know, covers a lot of ground. I've seen her play more outfield than infield, but I know she plays some second as well. So she's, you know, just that. She's some speed to add to the lineup.
Was that an area you wanted to address a little bit with just speed? You guys traditionally have been a little bit more of a power team than some other. You see some of those teams that come up and
Yep.
slap every time. But how important was it to get a girl like that who brings a little speed and makes things happen a little bit out there?
You always want more speed, no matter what. You know, it's, you know, even in the past, it's great to have speed, but doesn't matter if they can't get on base. So, you know, we're looking for the people that can get on base, and you know, she's done that a lot. She finds a way and she puts the ball in play, and then uses her speed.
And then rounding out the class here, or Kump, is that it? She's a corner infielder. Just what do you see from Lexi?
She's a transfer, so she's coming in with a year of college experience, and you know, she played on some good travel ball teams in the summer times, but she actually went to UMKC and just wanted to get away for a little bit. She's from Kansas City, so she wanted to step outside and get away from home a little bit. So we're going to see what she can do and see if she can help us.
Yeah, I know programs have different philosophies sometimes on transfers and how selective they are with who they bring in. What's kind of your thought on bringing in transfer kids? And obviously, it sounds like you got a good one here. So what's kind of the philosophy overall with bringing in transfer kids to the program?
You know, I think it depends when you get them and where you get them from. You know, I know for us, we don't, in the past, haven't got a lot of
Yeah.
transfers. You know, it seems to be we go after transfer if there's a need for something. You know, we hope that they can fit in, and you know, they've already been to college, they've already adjusted to a team. So I think that's a lot of it is, you know, knowing that they've already been away, and okay, now you need your team to absorb them and be
Yeah.
able to settle in. So, you know, that's our biggest thing. We just want her to settle in, and you know, can be a big swinger, and so, and that's what we want. We want her to go after the ball.
Gotcha. And now, like you said before, there's a possibility to add to this class, but just what kind of when do you expect these? I know we've had orientation and stuff. When do you expect some of them to be here? Are they already here? And what's kind of the rest of you guys' off season schedule look like before fall ball?
You know, we're kind of in the same boat as baseball, where we get done
Yeah.
when school's done or school's already out. So uh, there's players still deciding to transfer right now. So
Yeah.
you know, we're looking for one, maybe two more. You know, the players that we have, we're happy with. If we started today, we'd be happy with. But you know, I know there's players out there still looking for a home, and you know, if there's one that fits, we might take a shot.
And then just as far as the overall team and who you have coming back this year, when are you able to get them back? And I know like you mentioned before, you have your fall season coming up. So when are you guys able to get out of the office and get on the field with them?
We won't be able to start till after school starts.
Gotcha.
So they move in the first move in times, and I think the returners usually get here first part of August, but
Yeah.
some of them will come in July. But we can't start early at all, which is fine for us. It gets them settled in, and we don't have a big fall schedule. We're only allowed 3 dates to play, so we'll get started that first 10 days of school and see what we have and try to get some games in this fall.
And as far as the just who all you have coming back, are you excited? Or I'm sure you're excited about a lot of players, but who kind of gained some experience last year? Maybe a freshman we would have been talking about this time last year, who you're expecting kind of that step forward from this year.
Well, Olivia Doherty, she was a
Yeah.
freshman from last year that, I'd watched her for 2 summers and I saw her hit the whole time. And last fall, she hit okay. It was nothing that she was happy with, and, she thought she could do better. But, once the season started, she started getting comfortable. She started swinging the bat and going after things. So, with her, she has a whole year under her belt. She's
Yeah.
hit a ton for us last year and hit the ball. So, I think that's one where just mentally she's going to be a different kid going into the fall, going into the spring season.
Did she kind of have to, I don't know, grow up fast, I guess, in your lineup with those injuries? She was always hitting in the top four at least, lead off a lot. And I think she played multiple positions well with the outfield, a little second, if I
Yeah.
remember right. What's the so was did she just kind of, was there almost no choice in that with the injuries you had, she was going to
Well,
have to produce?
we didn't have a lot of injuries on the defensive side of things,
Yeah,
so
a lot
it
of
was
veterans.
one where, we tried her in a couple spots, and, it was more just getting her comfortable. She didn't ever hit poorly, but it wasn't the Olivia that I'd seen for 2 summers. And
Gotcha.
then it started to come out, and you could see her loosen up, and so, and that's where we want to get to. Just it's the same game you've been playing for 10 years, and it's just like every other sport. Mentally get out of your own way and start playing, and that's for every player. Just enjoy yourself and get out there.
And just like other sports where especially at the college level where you guys can only be with them a certain amount of the year and everything and work with them, what's been kind of the key to the off season, the development? Have you had anything specific you want them to hopefully work on their own to make those strides this year?
A lot of it for the younger kids is getting stronger. There's a difference between playing 18 under softball facing a 17-year-old pitcher as compared to a 22-year-old pitcher when you get to be a freshman in college. And vice versa, you know, as a freshman pitcher, as a sophomore pitcher, it's different than playing 18 under ball because now you're facing that 22-year-old, 21-year-old hitter that is strong, is developed, knows what they're doing. So, a lot of it is just trying to get those kids stronger that first year. And it's not bulking up and it's not doing that, but it's getting them to understand that the pitching, it's a heavier ball that they're hitting. The ball's spinning a little bit harder and you have to drive through it and you got to swing through it. So, a lot of it with those young kids is you're not playing against a 16-year-old anymore. It's a mature person that you got to be strong.
Gotcha. And we talked earlier about last year's record and everything. Do you think that kind of provides motivation? Like these older girls haven't been used to finishing the season. Maybe with that sort of record, you've had a sustained run of winning seasons before that. So what kind of, do you think that provides them a little extra motivation, or what's the mindset? Have you had a conversation about that with some of the veterans?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that they want more out of this, and the expectations have to be there. What do they want out of the season? But so much of what they want out of the season starts in September, October, November. The as upperclassmen, what kind of leaders are you going to be for these younger kids? We need them to get the direction going that they want to go, because as they can see, when we didn't get experience that we needed early in the year last year, missing those 18 games,
Yeah.
what happens? We need leadership to take us in the right direction.
Gotcha. And we'll look forward to seeing that start develop during the fall season and on into the spring. But thanks for joining us today, Coach, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.